Good morning, hockey fans. Thanks for making Oilers TV pregame show a part of your morning. I'm your host, Tony Brar, and we're just 15 hours away from puck drop to kick off the Stanley Cup qualifiers between the Edmonton Oilers and Chicago Blackhawks. Now, we will have some players joining us this morning. Zach Kassian, Connor McDavid, and Darnell Nurse will be made available this morning at the JW Marriott, but we won't hear from head coach Dave Tippett until 3 p.m. after practice. They announce who the starting netminder will be. We'll find out at 3 p.m. Now, just want to quickly touch on some of the content that we have going for you right now on Oilers TV and EdmontonOilers.com. We had the pleasure of speaking with Jack Michaels and Bob Stauffer, the voices of the Oilers, in our first edition of the panel since hockey has restarted. Also, Paul Gazzola came out with a wonderful feature last night on EdmontonOilers.com called Playoff Pedigree. You won't want to miss it. Touches on the 2016-17 season, as well as all the experience injected into this lineup as well. It's a fantastic read. And also, I had the pleasure of writing Don't Sleep on Yamamoto. Now, the NHL.com did name Kyler Yamamoto the top fantasy sleeper heading into the postseason. So that's just a quick read for your reading pleasure. We will have the full pregame report today. The Oilers will not hold a media availability tomorrow morning, so the pregame report will be made available today. Now, I'm very excited for this next segment here because it's inspired from yesterday's live show. It's actually going to be the same question. So if you were tuning in, you're going to already have heard these words before, but let's roll into the next segment.
Oilers fans, we want to hear from you. It's time for Tell Tony.
All right, guys, as you guys saw, you can tell Tony. Tell me your thoughts here. I'm going to put you in a situation here. You are the general manager of a hallway hockey team, just like the old days, because head coach Dave Tippett said it yesterday. It's like a kids tournament all over again. The players are set up in the hotel room, so are the coaches. And of course, a mainstay and a staple in every hockey trip has always been hallway mini stick hockey. So if you were the general manager for the Edmonton Oilers mini hockey stick team, you got to choose 3 players: 1 forward, 1 goaltender, and 1 defenseman. Now let us know on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. And throughout the show, I will be sharing some of your answers, the best answers. So be creative with them. And it doesn't necessarily have to be Connor McDavid, Darnell Nurse, and the best goaltender, whoever you think that may be. Give us some creative answers too. Maybe you need some guy who's good in the corners and he's maybe a little bit smaller in the hallway. Guy like Kyler Yamamoto, as we just talked about. Ethan Bear, quick on his feet. He might be pretty good in hallway hockey. We don't know. Let's hear your answers, Oilers fans. But also want to announce for tomorrow's game, Oilers 50-50 is also back. I know a big part of the experience at Rogers Place is getting that raffle ticket and wanting a chance to win some pretty big money, and also supporting a great cause with the Edmonton Oilers Community Foundation. While that is back, I have the information up on my laptop. So if you are interested in participating in the Remax Online 50-50, it begins tomorrow. Now, at the start of every game day at 9 a.m. Mountain, you can start purchasing your tickets all the way up until 10:30. So even though that the game starts at 1 p.m. and will probably conclude at about 3:30, 4 o'clock, you can still purchase an online 50-50 raffle ticket until 10:30 p.m. Mountain, and then the winner will be announced no later than 11:30. So we're waiting on the players. Again, we're going to be hearing from Zach Kassian, Connor McDavid, and Darnell Nurse. So please stay tuned on the Oilers live pregame show here on Oilers TV.
It's the game! 4-3 Edmonton in overtime!
If you have a question, we already have a couple questions. We'll start with Jason Greger. Jason, go ahead when your microphone's active.
Connor, you've gone through now the camp and everything else. Can you talk about the excitement level for this, and having experienced the one game, what's your expectations as far as the intensity and how this will be different maybe than game one of 2017?
Yeah, definitely. It's been a long training camp. I'm definitely glad we've gotten to this point and we can get started tomorrow, and definitely really excited about it. For guys that have been here a long time, we've talked about playoffs for a few years and haven't been able to get there. So this is a great opportunity for us. Our first game against Calgary, it didn't feel too different, even without fans. So I would expect game one to be no different.
Next question, Ryan Rishaug. Go ahead, Ryan.
Thanks, Andre. Question for Zach. Sorry if it's a bit awkward. I'm going to ask you to talk about Connor. He's right next to you. One of the things that the general manager and the coach talked about this year was the tone that the leadership group set. Obviously, with Connor as your captain, Zach, can you give us a sense of what tone you feel Connor wanted to set for the group this year as captain, and maybe how that benefits you now heading into the most important time of the year?
Yeah, well, I think his honor speaks for itself. But obviously, he went through a tough last summer where he wasn't able to train to normal extent that he would. So he's definitely he had a full summer, enough time to recharge, work out to his full capability, and obviously he's coming back and he's determined. You can see it more than ever. He's excited to be back. He's determined, and obviously, as a team, our ultimate goal is to win the Stanley Cup. So there's only one player on our team that has accomplished that, and therefore it makes our entire team very hungry. And obviously, Connor's a very, very big piece of that.
Next question, Jim Matheson. Jim, as soon as your microphone's active, you can ask your question. Go ahead.
This is for Connor. Connor, can you talk about Dylan Strome? Perhaps Dylan Strome might be matched against you and what you remember from your junior days, and does he know you as well as you know him?
Yeah, Strome is obviously a guy that I know very well. He really smart player, very smart offensively. Looking forward to the opportunity to play against him.
Next question, Mark Spector. Mark, as soon as your microphone's active, you can ask your question.
At Darnell, in 2017, you guys made the playoffs, and I don't know about inside your room, but certainly around hockey, everyone said, okay, here come the Oilers, man, they're going to be in the playoffs every year. And that didn't happen. You guys are back this year. You got a pretty good team. Do you look at this playoffs differently after having had a couple of years where you didn't get to go to the dance?
Yeah, I think we're all just hungry to get back and play the guys that went through that experience. It was a great year there, 2017, but the let-off came the following couple of years. So I think we're hungry to prove ourselves that we're capable of being in this position and that we're capable of playing at this level of hockey. So I just think we're all hungry to get out there and play, and we know what we're capable of in this room.
Next question to John Dietz. John, go ahead.
This question's for Connor. Connor, when the Blackhawks won in 2015, one of the things that was always on their mind was the death of their trainer, Clint Rife. I know you guys had a tragedy in your team. I was just wondering if Colby's going to be obviously going to be in the back of your minds the whole time, and how much that motivates you guys. Do you any plans to do anything before game one or anything like that to honor him or anything like that?
Obviously we're always thinking of Gaver, and we're holding him in our hearts and thinking about him and playing for him. So we've discussed a few things to do for him game one. Not sure if we've nailed anything down yet, but we're definitely talking about it. So but I think the best thing we can do for him game one is go out and get a big win. I think it sounds cheesy and sounds cliche, but I think that's the main focus.
Next question to Reed Wilkins. Reed, as soon as your microphone's active, you can ask a question.
Thanks, Andre. Good morning, guys. Question for Zach. In the playoffs in 2017, I mean, you had several games where you made a huge impact, shifted momentum, a lot of big hits, big goals. How much are you drawing on that for this year? And I'm wondering, too, if you feel like you're ready to be unleashed a little bit. I know the scrimmages were energetic and somewhat physical, but I'm guessing you aren't going to try to pop one of your teammates like you might an opponent. So do you have a lot of energy you're ready to expel here?
Yeah, I definitely have a lot of energy. I'm definitely excited to go, just like our whole team. But I'm not looking back on the last playoff run we had. The past is the past. Obviously, this is a new year with new challenges with a different team. So got to kind of pave our way as a team here, and I'm looking to be a small piece of the big puzzle here. So, like I said, I'm excited to get back. I'm excited to play. Obviously, a lot of staggered time, not doing too much. So to be back with the guys and ultimately get a chance to compete for the Stanley Cup, it's exciting, and I'm looking forward to it.
Next question to Daniel Nugent-Bowman. Daniel, go ahead as soon as your microphone's active.
Yeah, this question's also for Zach. I mean, Zach, Tuesday's game against Calgary from just sitting upstairs seemed pretty weird. Obviously, no fans. You could hear things on the ice. I'm just wondering, as somebody who's, you're a physical guy, you like to engage with opponents, with it being so quiet, do you change the way that you go and talk to players, or is it all systems go in that regard because it is the playoffs?
I don't think anything changes as athletes. Once you get in the zone, once you start playing the game's the game. That hasn't changed at all. I'm not going to change any way I play or what I say. I am what I am out there, and it doesn't matter if there's fans in the stands or not. There's still important hockey games to be played here, and that's that.
Next question to Dan Rosen. Dan, as soon as your microphone's active, you can go ahead.
Yeah, this is for Connor. Connor, I know you got a good pulse on your team, and I'm sure you believe that you guys are ready to go. What are the indications to you that you guys are ready to go? What are the signs? What are you seeing from your guys right now and your team that it's been 142 games since an NHL game was played and you guys are ready to play tomorrow?
I think it goes in steps. I think our first step was just getting back and hearing the excitement and then seeing it on the ice right from day one was step one. And I liked our scrimmages. I thought there was a lot of pace, there was a lot of compete. Didn't feel like summer hockey out there. So, and then obviously our game against Calgary, I don't think anyone can just call that an exhibition game. That was as close to a playoff game and an exhibition game as you're ever going to get. So. I liked everything that guys been doing on the ice. I like what I'm hearing from everyone off the ice. So all indications are that we're ready to go, and we get to do that tomorrow.
We have 4 media in the queue for questions, so we'll take those 4 questions. And go ahead, Jason Gregor.
Darnell, this is for you and Zach. You guys are both intense players. I know, Zach, you said it doesn't change, but was it odd? Like, you ran over Gustafsson in that game, and usually the crowd would go nuts. And I don't know if that automatically just adds more energy or not. Does the bench have to be louder to maintain that? And do you think momentum shifts are going to be key? Because sometimes you would have a great shift just being physical, cycling, and the crowd really builds on that. So how do you find you guys are going to react to that aspect of it when you look at the emotional part of the game?
I'd say I think Cass said it perfect. Like, you get out there, it doesn't really matter who's in the stands or what's going on. You're in the heat of the moment, you're in the heat of the game. As long as there's someone wearing a different jersey on the other side, that's all that really matters. So the emotion, it'll be there, especially there's a lot on the line. I know it's different that there's no fans and there's no environment like that, but there's a Stanley Cup to be played for, and I think that's enough motivation that anyone needs in this league. So, with the momentum swings and whatnot, yeah, maybe you don't have the crowd and the loud roars in the background when someone has a good cycle down low, but it on the bench, as a team when you're coming on.
Next question, Ryan Rashad. Go ahead, Ryan.
Connor, I wonder if you can just compare the way you feel heading into your second playoff compared to the first time when you had never done it before. I don't know if it's not so much about confidence, but just kind of where your head is at having been there before, and what maybe main lesson you learned from that first time around that you definitely apply tomorrow.
It's tough to draw comparisons from last playoff to this playoff because it is so different. There are still a lot of unknowns, and I think what you can draw on is just the style of play and how tight checking it is, and how every little thing matters. So definitely need to be dialed in as soon as the puck drops tomorrow.
Okay, we'll take 2 more questions. Jim Matheson, go ahead.
This is for Connor. The Oilers' power play is the best of any team in the last 40 years. Why is it so good?
Yeah, I think I think it's a combination of a couple things, and one is it's the same power play we've ran for a couple of years now. Same personnel. I mean, the net front guy kind of has mixed around a little bit, but it's virtually the same power play. Gully's done a great job of just letting us be creative and showing us certain setups and things to look for. And then I think third is just the players that we can put out there. We can play 5 pretty good players and who know each other really well. So it's definitely been a big part of our team and needs to continue as we move forward.
One last question, Mark Spector. Mark, as soon as your microphone's active, go ahead.
Darnell, just a question on the goaltending. You guys have been back and forth all season, 50-50 goalies pretty much. I know both guys have different styles, and you're a defenseman that obviously works closely with your goalie. How much time and effort is there adjusting to whichever different guy comes in terms of one guy handles a puck more than the other? And when will Dave Tippett tell you guys, the defense core or the team, who's starting in goal?
Tip will tell us when he's ready to tell us. I'm not sure when he'll let us know who's playing. The thing with our 2 goalies is no matter who goes in there, we have so much confidence in them. At this point, we've played over 70 games. So when either guy goes in there, you kind of know what to expect. They're both really, really, really good goaltenders that we're fortunate to have. And as D, it's always nice when you can look back there and see the Kosk or Smitty back there because you know that they're going to give you everything they have that night, and they're going to do everything that they can to keep the puck out of net. And then, for us, we just want to do what we can to help them out. They're both unique, play a little bit different, but they're both guys that we have a whole lot of trust in.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Thanks, members of the media. We'll be back at 3 o'clock with Coach Dave Tippett. Thank you.
And there was Zach Kassian, Connor McDavid, and Darnell Nurse. Every time I see Zach Kassian's chops, I wonder what my boss would say if I ever walked into the studio with those chops. So, hey, maybe a preview of things to come down the line. Just a reminder, head coach Dave Tippett will be made available at 3 p.m. after practice. Again, the Oilers are skating at 12:30 at the downtown community arena. We will have that press conference for you live here on Oilers TV and EdmontonOilers.com. Now, of course, an intriguing matchup in this series is Connor McDavid going up against one of his best friends and former teammate with the Erie Otters, Dylan Strome. And, I just decided to bring up Connor McDavid's stats from the OHL, and I think he was playing in rookie mode. You know how you can switch the toggle on NHL 20 and make it rookie mode? He had 120 points in 47 games. That is just absolutely ridiculous. Had 49 points in 20 playoff games. That is just incredible. Nearly 2.5 points per game for Connor McDavid. But Dylan Strome, he was incredible as well. 129 points the year he played with Connor McDavid. 111 points in 12 fewer games as he captained the Erie Otters the year after that, and also posted amazing numbers, 21 points in 13 playoff games. So that'll be an interesting matchup, especially if the head coaches choose to line match those two guys against one another. And obviously, Zach Kassian was asked about what do the circumstances change in terms of the atmosphere in the game, the overall feeling going into a game. And he says, you know what, for me, nothing changes as an athlete. I am what I am on the ice. That's that. So from a player's perspective, we should see the same product on the ice according to Zach Kassian. Darnell Nurse mentioned that this team is hungry, especially after getting a taste, especially after the young core got a first taste of playoff action back in 2017. They were, of course, ousted in the second round in Game 7 against the Anaheim Ducks that year. And again, you heard a question about the starting netminders. It's on everyone's mind here in Edmonton. And Darnell Nurse doesn't know the answer because Dave Tippett has not said it to anybody. He's probably having a lot of talks with goaltending coach Dustin Schwartz about that. Just to get back on some of the questions on Tell Tony, our new segment here on Oilers TV Live. The question was, which 3 players would you take for your mini sticks team in the bubble hotel? If you were the general manager of the Edmonton Oilers hallway hockey team, which 3 players would you take? Now, just remember, it has to be 1 forward, 1 goaltender, and 1 defenseman. I'm going to read out some of the responses that we got here, starting on Facebook. And, it looks like you guys are chatting a lot on Facebook, which is great. I just got to pull up the ones, and I can't even pull them up. Maybe we'll get our social cat here to help me out pretty soon. I'm having some trouble with technology, but I saw a lot of constants. I saw McDavid, I saw Clefbaum, and I saw Koskinen. I'm going to be reading them out as soon as I can bring them up here. Just bear with me for a few moments. I know Danielle, I couldn't remember the last name. I think it was Boss or Bosi. She said her 8-year-old son submitted an answer as well. I was going to read that one first. But I'm having issues. Hey, that's live TV. It's going to happen. I can quickly jump over to YouTube to read the one that I wanted to read here. It's forward Zach Kassian, so you're going with some muscle. Ethan Bear and goaltender Koskinen. The question from, I'm not even sure how to say that, is Serious Hero says, how are they going to score when you lay your goalie across the hallway? Well, when Mikko Koskinen's back there, 6'6", that's going to be pretty tough, so pretty good justification there. I'm still working my way through the Facebook comments. Again, I apologize for that. It's going to happen. Well, that's a little bit of a letdown. You know what? We're going to quickly go to Slate here, having a little bit of technical difficulties, and then I'll be right back with some of your responses. Welcome back to Oilers TV. I apologize for the technical difficulties, and it still looks like I can't bring up all the comments for some reason on my laptop. We had everyone look at it. It's not happening. So why don't you just submit your answer right now, and I'll read them in real time. You're the GM of your hallway hockey team here at JW Marriott. Just like a kids tournament, you have one forward, one defenseman, and one goaltender on the Oilers. Who are you taking? And I will read them out loud right now. We got Jay Alden Zale saying Kassian, McDavid, and Koskinen. So just so you know, Jay Alden, we are looking for one defenseman in there as well, but I like where your head is at. Zach Kassian is probably a good bet in the hallway because I don't think a lot of people will be able to take the puck off of him. Conrad Crowe says McDavid, Bear, and Smith. Can't go wrong with those three. Absolute staples in the Oilers lineup. We got... I remember seeing, now I apologize, I know the last name was Ma. I did not catch the first name, and I was reading it earlier, and he gave like an in-depth analysis on each player he chose. So if you guys can explain your reasoning as to why you're choosing the players, that would be fantastic. I apologize, Mr. Ma, that I do not remember your first name, but I did read it. I promise you that. There was also another comment talking about going with all muscle. So Zach Kassian, Adam Larson, and Mike Smith, as you saw with the ripped sleeves last time during his avail, he's a pretty big man. So he said you got to go with all muscle and do not mess around with that team. That's pretty good justification there. We got Dan Cole saying Zach Kassian, Ethan Bear, and Mikko Koskinen, and just scare them into submission. Yeah, that would be pretty scary going up against those three. McDavid, Broberg, and Smith. How about Philip Broberg getting some love? Maybe we can see some end-to-end action in the hallway of JW Marriott. That would be a good one. We got Bear, Smith, and McDavid. Thank you, Dale Mustos. Sakaris Johansson saying Kassian, Smith, and Larson. There you go. That's the one that I was alluding to. So Sakaris, you said Zach Kassian, Mike Smith, and Adam Larson, and he put, don't try anything with the wing. That is one team that I would never try with. Eric Baker, thank you so much for correcting me. Mikko Koskinen is 6'7" and not 6'6". I appreciate that, Eric. And we're going to read one more. We're going to go with Karia Bouchelet, McDavid, Draisaitl, and Nugent-Hopkins. So we're just completely throwing all the rules out of the window and going with the three best players on the hockey team. I'll tell you what, Karia, I'm not sure who would play goaltender, but with those three, I'm not sure if you will need a goaltender. Again, head coach Dave Tippett is coming up at 3 p.m., so be sure to make your way back here to Oilers TV and EdmontonOilers.com, as we will have that live for you. I'm Tony Brar signing off on behalf of the entire Oilers TV team here at Rogers Place, and we'll see you in the afternoon.